Hello everyone and welcome to the Citrix Masterclass. We hope you enjoyed our What's New webinar, which you can find linked in the description below, and we're happy to be able to dive further into the content for you. I am Stephen Gallagher, a technical marketing architect at Citrix, and I'll be your host today. In this Masterclass session, we will deep dive into cost optimization. However, before we begin, I want to make a few announcements. This year's Masterclasses will run quarterly and last approximately 45 to 60 minutes. And we have some exciting content and speakers lined up to cover the entire portfolio, so make sure you tune in for the upcoming masterclasses. Thanks again for joining us. So let's get started. For today's masterclass topic, we will provide an overview of Citrix Observability, discuss some of the latest and upcoming features in the Citrix Observability roadmap, and deep dive into cost optimization, looking at how Citrix monitoring and insights help reduce your costs and spending. I'm excited to welcome Vivek, a lead product manager, to the Citrix Masterclass. Welcome, Vivek.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Vivek. I'm part of the product management team with Citrix. I specifically manage products in the suite of observability space that includes Director Analytics. And I'm glad here to be on this session to talk about what's up and coming and what's new with Citrix Observability. Okay, so before I dive deep into it, just a reminder that the core value of Citrix is to enable our customers to provide the flexibility and choice to deliver any type of application, whether it's virtual apps and desktops or modern web and SaaS, on a choice of workloads, hybrid or multi-cloud, to any user on any device within any network, while provide an excellent experience and a secured workspace. Now, to align with this, within the observability side, we have multitude of products. Specifically, you might be already familiar with Director and Monitor that helps you in real-time triaging and monitoring session capabilities, along with taking actions to remediate any identified issues. Analytics complements Director and Monitor both in performance and security aspects, where performance analytics helps you with proactive user experience related monitoring, and security ensures that your workspace is secure from not only external but internal users' access and activity point of view. NetScalers brings in a more holistic visibility into the network aspect within your workspace again. So in addition to that, with uberAgent, our latest acquisition, we now of providing similar outcomes by enabling visibility into physical endpoints, visibility into applications, performance and usage, as well as any other physical servers, basically performance and health data point. So with all of these products, you are well empowered to have end-to-end observability outcomes with Citrix Observability sort of products. Now, with all of this, when we further had conversation with customer like you, there were clearly few key trending outcomes and requirements that our customers are really focused on. And those are some of the categories that I'm highlighting here are mainly around, can we do better with remote troubleshooting, proactive user experience monitoring, being able to monitor Citrix components and understand the app usage and performance, all of this while ensuring we are reducing the cost and ensuring there is no risk from the end user's behavior side of it, right? So these were the overall trending requirements, and our roadmap is pretty much aligned to all of these, what we have heard from you. And now I'll go ahead and start talking about a brief update on the roadmap items on Citrix Observability. Okay, so now based on what we have heard, these are the 5 categories in which our roadmap is more aligned with. The first one is basically improve IT efficiency And primarily here, the ask has been, well, can we focus on helping our customers to reduce their mean time for resolution and reduce the cost of escalation and support, right? So we already had great set of features in helping with this, but we are diving deep more to make sure that we really reduce your mean time for resolution and thus reduce the escalation or support cost. In addition to that, there are areas where we worked on enhancing our proactive monitoring. We already had a lot of capabilities on the proactive monitoring. We are further investing on this to help you have visibility into infrastructure monitoring, as well as using our existing synthetic monitoring probes technology to be ahead in terms of identifying any potential issues and mitigate them beforehand itself. In addition to these existing categories, we now also are investing on 3 new areas. The first one is under application usage. Again, I think this has been one of the key component where our customers would like to understand the applications that are delivered to their users. How often are these being used? What's the usage pattern? And based on that, take decisions on continued investment in those applications to upgrade and manage or to retire them. Now, while talking about the real objective of to understand the usage and thing, one of the key thing behind with most of our customers is to manage cost effectively, right? While delivering these excellent capabilities to our end users. So we understand that in the current economics, cost is a key factor. So we have a good set of investments on helping our customers basically identify opportunities to reduce cost while they continue to deliver this great experience to the users. And finally, while we keep delivering, one of the key things is to provide the flexibility and choice to our customers to consume all of this in the choice of applications or platforms that they have already aligned in the organization. So our key, one of the key things that we want to help you is to provide the ability to get the data out of all of these products and integrate it with a choice of application of each customer, right? And for that, we're working on providing you with interfaces such as API or bulk stream capabilities so that you can achieve these outcomes, not just within the Citrix console, but outside of Citrix product itself. With that, I move to actually providing a glimpse of what actual product features that we are delivering in each of these pillars, right? So let's start with the first one, which is triage and troubleshoot. Now, this has been the core use case for our existing set of products, which is director and monitor. And I'm going to talk as to what kind of enhancements are we doing in that area. So first of all, we'll start with the simplified support experience, and that starts with being able to help our hybrid customers to actually empower their help desk team to be able to view, search for a user session across their on-prem as well as DaaS site. So traditionally, when a user complained for a hybrid customer, the help desk were limited to actually view the user session for an on-prem one using Director, for a cloud one using Monitor. Now we're simplifying that for our hybrid customers. As this video is showing, a simple way to connect your on-prem Director with Cloud Monitor will now empower your help desk users to search for a user session, regardless of it's a on-prem or a DaaS session. They will be able to search and continue their triaging and troubleshooting experience within one console. That really takes away a lot of pain to your help desk team to able to figure out first if a particular user session that they're complaining is actually an on-prem or a DaaS site. All right, so now once the help desk team has actually successfully simplified way of searching a particular user session, we then have a very simplified view of being able to look at a type of session and its performance parameters. So this is something that we had already released But just to again reiterate our commitment for a much more simplified experience, this topology view helps actually any user to quickly identify what type of a session, regardless if our customers are using gateway service or in combination with our DAS, or if it's entirely an on-prem session, or it's an actually internally launched session itself. So being able to identify what type of a session, and then be able to visualize the performance parameters and correlate with actually not just the point in time data, but actually the 15 minutes trend of these performance parameters was something that we had already introduced. Now, on top of this, what we are doing is actually providing data enrichment, where, as I'm highlighting in this particular video, now we are working on making sure that we are able to show more network information from the end user, such as Wi-Fi signal strength and ping as well. In addition to that, the existing trend of the performance parameters, we are now expanding that to go beyond 15 minutes to 24 hours. Now, what really this empowers is your team to be able to go ahead and not only do more effective triaging of an in-session experience issue that a user has raised by looking and correlating to their home network or office network related data points, but also now they are not just being able to limit it to look at the performance parameters for the last 15 minutes, but they can do it so for the last 24 hours. So any issues reported by the user that they experienced within the last 24 hours of a session, they would be able to go ahead and look at those performance parameters to identify what could have led to those issues. Well, now that was more about looking at the performance parameters of a session and of various components that goes into delivering that session. But what we are also doing is now go ahead and allow the capability for the help desk persona to actually dynamically do the session recording. With this, we now provide you the ability to actually visualize what the experience was from an end user, in addition to look at the corresponding session performance parameters to be able to understand what could have led to that. So this is really a powerful combination. With this, you and your team would be able to very quickly identify the actual experience that the user has complained about, and then look at as to what is causing those experience and be able to triage. On a similar theme, now that was more about in-session experience. For the logon itself, we obviously had a much more simplified view that we rolled out, which now helps you understand how each subphase of the logon was in play during the overall session logon experience. This simplified view gives you an understanding of all the various phases, when it started, how long did it take, and we are expanding on this to include additional phases that also is basically impacting the end user's logon. And now we also provide more capabilities on being able to basically provide you with visibility into their profile load, specifically when they're also customers are using FS Logic as their profile management choice of tool. This is in addition to what we already support with our Citrix profile management tool itself. Okay, so now I spoke about what are the enhancements that we are doing to our existing capabilities in Director and Monitor to actually triage and troubleshoot a virtual apps desktop session. We are extending this capability to also, using the same console, be able to go ahead and look for a particular user's web and SaaS application session and have a very similar experience, right? So it's the same console and it's a similar experience for your team to search for a particular user session, regardless if it's a virtual apps or desktops or web and SaaS, and be able to successfully triage and troubleshoot, right? So as you can see, it's a similar topology view that helps you easily understand what was the nature of the issue and further extend to provide clearly as to what were the actual reasons that correlates with actually the user's complaint when accessing a web and SaaS application. So overall, a very capable set of features that empowers you and your team to be able to successfully triage and troubleshoot a session that a user had with Citrix. Okay. With that, move to the second category, which is proactive monitoring. Again, we had great capabilities already here, including proactive user experience with analytics, as well as all the insights and alerts. We are expanding our capabilities in the proactive monitoring capability side. And to begin with, we are investing on providing you visibility into the health and performance of Citrix infrastructure stack. So this has been a long pending ask, and the great value here is within a single view, you will be now able to monitor the health and performance of all the Citrix stack. We are again investing on this area, and you will be soon hearing as to how we roll out these capabilities to our customers. So this again will be coupled with the ability to deep dive and act on those alerts that you'll be getting from the monitoring of Citrix components. So you'll be able to simply have a deep dive into what exactly are the anomalies that we detected and go about remediating those issues. This along with our continued investment on synthetic application desktop monitoring using our probes. So again, there has been more investment in this area where we are really we heard your feedback on the shortcomings in terms of the supported authentication capabilities. We have invested a lot on that and have a much more comprehensive view and capability around failures that might occur when your probe runs are running, and have a simplified view of that as well. So overall, with our existing capabilities and this enhance, you are probably very well covered position for your proactive monitoring strategy of Citrix related sessions. Moving next is another a key area for most of our customer, which is cost optimization. Again, saving money is never out of fashion. So it's always, given the current economic condition, this is even more emphasized that our more customers want to see as to how they can actually reduce their spend. So we're keeping this in mind. There's a good set of investment on empowering our customers to be able to visualize their existing savings by leveraging various Citrix capabilities, but also help them identify if there are wastages and ways for them to convert them into additional savings and help their organization save money on their spend. So with that, the first thing, one other thing that we will be working on to empower our customers is being able to visualize cost per user and workload. I think workload cost is one of the significant part of the overall spend, and a lot of our customers will definitely have budgeting and forecasting based on a certain assumptions as to how much a workload would cost, what is the typical basically the uptime of those machines based on different persona of usage. So this view really helps our customers understand what is the actual per user per month cost, so that they can validate their hypothesis or see as to are they deviating from the original budgeting and forecasting that they have done, right? So being able to understand how the per user per month is trending, how is it basically across their hybrid and multi-cloud deployment, what is the per user per month cost. Obviously, these are all tied to the actual count of user and the uptime of those machines in the respective one. So being able to visualize how much of these savings is actually coming because of our customers leveraging a great set of capabilities from Citrix, such as Autoscale, MCSIO, etc. So being able to visualize those actual savings, and again, on the same path, understand what is the actual per user per month cost when it is basically between the type of persistent to pool, which is statically or randomly assigned to the group of users, or what is the savings from a multi-session versus a single session type of deployment, and which VM series is actually costing how much. So all of this, again, like I said, correlated with the uptime of these particular type of category of VMs and the distinct count of users that are accessing. Based on that, you will be able to visualize. So now with this view, that helps you either validate your hypothesis or helps you spot something where you're spending more and you could actually look for opportunity for savings. We then move to a view that actually helps you with visibility into your already realized savings and also help you visualize any kind of wastage that you further can reduce your cost. For example, in this particular view, we will show you a trend of your realized savings by leveraging Citrix capabilities such as autoscale, MCS, etc. Right? So being able to view as to how your realized savings has been over a period of time, and the further below the bottom section helps you identify one of the key features, how it is playing out, which is your auto scale, right? So because most of your spend will be attributed towards the compute and storage, and every time your machine is powered on, it is actually leading to spend. So you want to make sure that a machine which is powered on is essentially there to deliver an actual session. So the bottom chart really helps you spot, are there any virtual machines at a given point in time which are powered on but does not have a session. Now this can really help you, again, validate your existing autoscale schedule and see if things are working out as per your schedule, or you need to further refine by being able to visualize the wastage that we are highlighting here, right? And all of this, again, talking about wastage, so we will provide you with capability to be more proactive in managing the wastage. For example, every time if there are any kind of issues with autoscale doing a scale out or a scale in action, then being alerted for any time there is a power action failure that is faced, either because the hypervisor had a timeout issues, or maybe there was a rate limit, or simply workload was unavailable at that point in time. So being able to be alerted, because this could mean either your user experience is impacted, or during failure during the scale in operation means there is actually the machine will be now up, instead of 8-9 hours a day, it will be potentially be up for 24 hours, which gets exaggerated during a weekend or along a weekend. So help you stay ahead by these alerts is key. So these alert will help you proactively manage that you're actually on point with your cloud spend. Additionally, similarly, one more criteria is, again, all your budgeting forecasting is based on the expected uptime hours of per day, per week, or per month. So being able to get alerts when that desired threshold is breached is something, again, we will enable you with these alerts. Now, that was more about your realized savings or leveraging power management effectively. We understand that, again, you want to further understand if the current provisioned set of VMs are rightly provisioned and rightly sized for the usage by your users. And again, keeping in mind that while you do that, the main idea is to ensure you're able to correlate it not only from a cost point of view, but also from an experience point of view. So with that in mind, the infrastructure right sizing helps you visualize, out of the total number of machines that are provisioned, well, what is the right set of density, right? For example, if it's a multi-session machine, then it tells you on this particular group of delivery group, well, the average density is so much. While out of that, we see typically for this period of time, maybe a week or 30 days, these set of count of machines are always unused. So again, helps you understand the total number of machines provisioned, what's the typical density we are seeing, and how many of those machines are always unused, right? So with that, you'll be able to understand, well, do you need to increase or reduce the count of machines that you've provisioned, and manage it for a better cost and performance point of view. So now we understand how many machines are and how many sessions are it's being managed. The next key thing is how effectively are they used? And we first start with providing you a visibility into the average uptime of these machines. And while these machines are up, how actively are they being used? So for example, being able to understand while a group of machines are up maybe for 18 hours a day doesn't necessarily mean they are being actively used. So we further help you understand by a breakup on helping you understand, well, out of those 18 hours, how many hours was the machine up without even a session? Now, for those hours where there were actually sessions, further give you a breakdown of understanding how many of those sessions actually were active versus idle or disconnected time. Now, I think this will play a very crucial role for you to understand as to what is the ideal power management strategy combination you should use for a type of usage pattern. For example, if you see a delivery group with high count of disconnected time, maybe you're better off using a power management time to bring down the overall uptime of the machine. Hibernation is something that we recently did a GA, so it could be a good option to explore if that really meets your need and customer user experience. You could really go for that to bring down the uptime and then basically save the cost. Okay, so now we looked at the right quantity of VMs and as well as to when it should be powered on and powered off based on the active usage time. And then I understand when it is being used, well, what is the type of usage or utilization of resources are we seeing? The key thing here is we are providing you a summary that helps you understand, is there a clear, distinct usage pattern between a select few cohort of users versus the majority of others? Again, this helps identify the power user use cases. So I think often most of our customers always get asked saying that, well, all the users will be accessing all type of applications, hence they need the best of resources. Well, in reality, there will be a select few who probably are either using the resources to the max, and maybe either the entire existing spec of machines are undersized for those cohort of users, whereas it remains oversized for the remainder set of users. So having a percentile 5% versus the middle 90 versus the bottom 5 percentile gives you a clear understanding for these group of delivery groups. Are we seeing a distinct different pattern of usage? And then understand, while it is the sizing that you have chosen is right sized for a majority of the cohort while being undersized for the top 5 percentile, or vice versa, it's right sized for the top 5 percentile and simply oversized for the vast majority of your users. And then once you identify that, being able to export per user consumption, help you understand who those specific users are, and then redevise your strategy on what type of VM series you should then group them so that you have the right sized VMs depending on the actual usage. And again, key thing is to we only show utilization when a machine has a session, and we understand that you're more concerned of the utilization during the peak, so we actually help you with peak resource utilization consumption that is conclusive for you to take your decision on sizing of your infrastructure. Okay. So now once you've done an effective power management and rightly sized your environment, the next set of maximum discount that you can get is basically by committing to a plan with your cloud provider. They provide you with great options such as reserved instance or savings plan. We help you further understand as to, based on the power management and your workload, what is the ideal quantity that you should commit so that you can maximize your discount, right? So we provide you with a modeling capability that allows you to define whether you want to understand your concurrent consumption based on machines that are powered on, or based on the session duration, or based on net active usage. If you were to choose any of the power management, then what is the right quantity of VM that you should actually go ahead and commit with your cloud provider to? Either it is a 1 year or a 3 year reserved instances or a savings plan, and will help you visualize as to what is the recommended quantity. But again, provide you more of the analysis as to this quantity is what is the type of cost, as well as per user per month cost, based on the quantity you would choose based on the consumption pattern. So I think with this, we really think you have a great visibility into what is your current per user per month cost across different configuration that you have delivered, and what is the realized savings that you are already benefiting by leveraging Citrix capabilities, and what are the further opportunities for you to maximize those savings. All right, with all of that, then we finally move into data export. And like I was telling, we understand that every organization would have a different need to go beyond, either to achieve additional outcomes using different other applications. So we understand that empowering you with that flexibility is key. So we are definitely working on providing you with capabilities of getting the data out, whether it is alerts to be able to integrate it with ServiceNow or Slack or Teams, or being able to get the data out using an API for your own custom dashboard that you might have, or integrate with any third-party application, or do a bulk stream of data for longer time of retention, correlation with other parameters, as well as for compliance or outcomes, right? So empowering you with that is again key. So we are definitely working on enabling you to get the data out to achieve those outcomes from Citrix Observability point of view. All right, so with all those exciting additions that we are doing on our existing product, I would now like to take an opportunity to introduce our new addition to the Observability suite, which is uberAgent, right? So uberAgent, as I initially showed, it extends the capability to be able to achieve observability outcome on physical endpoints, servers, as well as a much more deeper visibility into application usage and performance. It is really a lightweight agent. As we literally is more like a Swiss Army knife that allows you the flexibility of being able to capture any kind of performance parameter that helps you then further use it to understand or achieve user experience monitoring, as well as the security outcomes. Again, it has a lot flexible in terms of the data that you can collect, as well as that you can visualize on any choice of platform that you want. Just to highlight some of the key outcomes that you can really do is have a good understanding of the application inventory that you have, not only from a published app, but from the application which is being delivered in a desktop, what type of apps are being used. It has a very simplified way of aggregating it and presenting you as to understand what type of apps are actually being used and how frequent. Do those applications have any kind of performance? Well, in addition to that, give you a lot more detailed visibility into the network performance, as well as the OS level visibility itself, that complements to all the capabilities that we're providing you with Director and Monitor itself. And like I said, it goes beyond. It also allows you to go ahead and monitor physical endpoints. So I think one of the key ask has been, well, we are able to monitor the VDA performance. We're able to monitor the network performance. It could be on the data center or the endpoint itself. But what about the endpoint itself in the first place, right? Is that really the key root cause where users are having poor experience? So I think this is a great opportunity for our customers to leverage uberAgent to actually understand as to what is the performance parameter of the endpoint, and is that really the root cause for actually having any kind of poor experience, right? The notorious blue screen that we often hear about. Yet again, in addition to all of these, it also provides a great depth of visibility into the browser related performance parameters. Again, often or not, right, most users are extensively using browser with so many tabs and open in it, so it gives you an understanding, well, what was the access within that tab, and what was the performance parameters of the browser. Gives you an understanding of, well, the user was complaining about primarily because of this particular app being used in this particular tab of browser, right? So all of these really extends and comprehends the capability that you already have with Director and Monitor. But in addition to that, again, we extend the capabilities of being able to also monitor security related outcomes as well, right? So it has got an extensive capabilities of being able to identify anomalous set of events, and then upon detection being able to proactively alert you so that you're ahead in terms of mitigating those. As well, gives you the flexibility again to be able to complement your existing security suite of solutions that you may be already using. So I think with that, uberAgent really it provides the flexibility. Again, it's for those customers who really wants more granularity, more flexibility, more control of the type of data they want to actually monitor, and monitor it on a choice of tool, whether it is on-prem or cloud. Again, that is a great flexibility that uberAgent brings in to the Citrix Observability suite of products. Yeah, so I think with that is a brief on what uberAgent is capable of. We'll definitely have a more dive deeper on the uberAgent capability and how you can achieve these outcomes.
Thank you so much, Vivek. So just before, we've received a number of questions in the chat during the session, so I'd like to just go through some of those. So during the initial slide where we were looking at sort of unifying sort of director and monitor to provide a search across on-premise sessions and the Citrix DAS sessions, is there a limit in the number of like on-prem sites that we can sort of enumerate together?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we already had capabilities for you to unify, your search across on-prem site through the site aggregation. With this, you're just simply expanding it to actually be searched not only across your existing on-prem site, but include the sessions on DAS as well. So with that, you basically don't have any kind of limitation. You're just bringing in your one DAS session into your existing, all of your on-prem Citrix sites.
Brilliant. Yeah, I know we've got a tech preview where we can sort of centralize the management of multiple Citrix DAS environments, and again, that's really useful where customers have created silos of desktops and applications into Citrix DAS just because of the sheer scale of it. So again, just allowing the help desk team to be able to sort of search for the sessions a lot quicker. So that's going to be great. Another question I know we've not really talked about much on this session is around uberAgent. So again, it's just around the licensing of uberAgent. How do our current Citrix customers get access to the uberAgent product?
Yeah, that's a great question, and thank you for asking that. I think in general, we have simplified overall licensing for Citrix. You now have is the universal licensing, and then you have the platform license. uberAgent and Analytics is part of our platform licensing option. So our customers who are universal will continue to get everything that I showed, which is part of the Citrix Director and Monitor. And our Analytics service, as well as the uberAgent, will be part of our platform licensing options.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Another question about the cost optimization. So in the image that you showed around the Azure consumption, does the customer need to go to like an Azure calculator to get the prices for each of the various instant VMs, or do they need to, is it data that they need to input into the Citrix, DAS monitor to actually produce those reports?
That's a great question too. And again, simplicity is the key theme for us when we provide these kind of capabilities. So actually, no, you don't have to manually go ahead and input the amount for us to calculate it. For all your cloud, workloads, we actually will be doing a direct query onto the respective cloud provider to actually get the cost of each of the workload, and also a way to actually find the cost that is specific to your agreement with your enterprise with the corresponding cloud provider itself. So that way, there will be no the need or dependency for you to go ahead and manually identify the cost and update for your cloud workloads. However, for your on-prem, we would rely on you to provide what is the cost per hour so that we can show you and compare and contrast between your on-prem and cloud workload.
Okay. And again, I noticed that there were multiple cloud providers. So Azure, AWS, Google. Are we going to provide those, day one release, or is that going to be a phased approach?
Again, a great follow-up question on that one. We're starting with Azure, and the idea is to cover all the cloud providers, followed by AWS, Google, as well as every other cloud provider. But we're starting with Azure as a first release.
Okay. And just a final question. So again, in the auto scale savings report, you mentioned that it will help us to, really determine the thresholds of auto scale and really fine tune it for each individual customer. Will that actually go off and proactively modify the auto scale or settings, or is that something that we're just giving visibility of the usage and sort of giving recommendations into what could be modified?
Yeah, no, I think that is great. The first step is to provide visibility into how their current configuration is playing out so that they can identify the wastage and further fine tune it. Obviously, we will further go and evolve to be able to actually analyze it and provide more recommendation and see how we can even simplify it by maybe providing an easier way of updating the configuration, or maybe go ahead and modify those configurations. But we're definitely taking the first step, and by providing the visibility of how it is currently being played out so that they can actually go ahead and tune it to their organizational needs.
Brilliant. Yeah. Vivek, thank you so much for joining us today. That was a really good session on sort of the features that, we've currently deployed, the some of the upcoming features that we're adding to our capabilities. It's really exciting. Coming from a consulting background and working with some of our large scale customers, these are, I know that a lot of our customers are going to really benefit from this in sort of optimizing their costs and the troubleshooting tool set for their and again, just really enhancing the end user's experience at the end of the day. So thank you once again, and yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. It was a pleasure, like I said, and I'm really happy to share these updates. Like I said, this is all coming from the feedback that we have heard from our valuable customers. So appreciate all the feedback, and looking forward to deliver more exciting values to you all. Thank you.
Once again, thanks to my speaker today, Vivek, and thank you for your time in attending the Citrix Masterclass and the questions in the chat. We will create a blog article with all of the questions answered and submitted during this masterclass. We will also provide links to the on-demand recording in the Masterclass Hub. Additionally, the Masterclass Hub will include an on-demand webinar for the Citrix uberAgent deep dive featuring Julian Cross, a lead product manager at Citrix. We have some exciting content and speakers lined up to cover the Citrix platform, so make sure you tune in for the upcoming Citrix masterclasses.